Welcome to episode 173 of the Corner of Knit and Tea. I'm Laura, also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, and that's where every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop called The Corner of Knit and Tea, which is where I sell my hand-spun yarns. And we have a Ravelry group called The Corner of Knit and Tea. Hello, welcome, how are you? It is Sunday, March 4th. It is beautiful out this weekend. Last night we had the windows open throughout the house and I could hear the frogs in the creek, which to me is always a sign of spring coming and summer coming. I know that makes it sound like we live out in the sticks. We do a little bit. We're still within city limits, although we're definitely a little bit more rural, but we have this, and it's not even a creek, it's a drainage ditch in the front, but come spring and summer in the early evenings, the frogs croak out there, and I am the consummate city girl. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, so if you'd asked me 10 years ago, the noises out my window would have been traffic. But these days, it is the frogs in the creek, and that always is a good sign that spring is coming. I don't know if we'll get another cold snap. We certainly could. It is the Midwest, but this weekend has been 55 and 60, sunny, and it has just been a wonderful breath of sunshine here. Of course, I had my trip to LA, but my husband did not, so he is overjoyed. He is out with the boys today playing disc golf and running around, so it marks, usually come spring and summer, I'm a bit of a, I don't even know what I would call it, an outdoor widow. My husband loves being outside, and I mostly burn and am allergic to things, so I go out for short periods of time, but it is not uncommon for him to be gone all day on the weekends, out doing things. So he is happy as a clam, and that gives me a little crafting time around the house. I have a few chores to do today, but it's about 2 o'clock now, and after I record and do a couple more things, I am going to put my feet up and enjoy the rest of the afternoon crafting. So I hope you have had a lovely week. Mine was not too bad. We did not have any ice this week, so I worked the full week. But it has been a little quiet. I am bracing because I know that the end of March is going to be incredibly busy, both at work and in tech editing, so I am sort of trying to get as much done now as I can. So I guess let's start the podcast. Today I am drinking a tea from my Tea Runners subscription. If you are interested in getting a tea subscription, I can highly recommend Tea Runners. It is run out of Canada, and it is a monthly box with 4 tea selections, and actually they have just, I joined pretty much as soon as it started, but they have announced a few modifications, one of which is that you can get it every other month rather than every month, if every month is a bit too much for you. And now they do, you can request certain things in your box, like you can get all black teas or all herbal teas or whatnot. I still get the original box. I think I may have dropped back to every other month. But this one is White Pearls, and it talks about white teas are picked in early spring from the youngest shoot of the plant with mild natural sweetness. And this is peony silver needles are delicately handcrafted into the shape of tiny pearls, and it is supposed to be a sweet, perfect daytime tea. This is the packet, and it comes from Tea Runners, which you can find at tearunners.com. And then I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but the tea leaves are kind of rolled into these little balls. They call them pearls. Yes, so I brewed that today in one of my Jenny the Potter mugs. This is my sunflower mug. It reminds me of Kansas, and I expect that this will be lovely. Ooh, that is really nice. It's a little bit flowery for my tastes, but it tastes really nice. And I let it steep for just, I think it said let it steep for 2 to 3 minutes. So I let it steep while I was wiping down the counters, which was a perfect length of time. And I added just a little bit of a sweetener. So that is what I am drinking today. It is, it's very nice. It's very, very light. So I suspect it would be a good iced tea as well. So that is what I'm drinking today. Let's get on to the knits. So I have one finished object for you. Last week I showed you that I was working on a pair of hand spun socks. I was using David Schultz's Toe Up Sock Cookbook, which is a great recipe, basically. You knit a swatch, and based on your gauge and your foot measurements, it helps you plot out your entire sock. And it is a great pattern. I have used it before. It's for toe up with a heel, with a gusset and heel flap. I find the gusset and heel flap are the best for me. And I don't always work toe up. I particularly work toe up when I'm working with hand spun yarn, because I hope to use it all, although I did not use all of this because I would have had knee socks. But they are done, and I am super excited. The hand spun yarn was Corriedale. It was Hello Yarn, and I spun it. My guess is it's probably a sport-ish weight, and I made some nice comfy cozy socks because I have a couple pairs of Corriedale hand spun socks that I have made, and they are the first things I pull out when it is super cold weather. They are lovely and warm and cushy, and Corriedale seems to me to be just the right blend of soft enough to not make me itch. I'm kind of sensitive to wools, but also hardy enough to make good sturdy socks. My other socks, I have one pair of Southern Cross Fiber, and then I have another pair of Hello Yarn, and they felt a little bit on the foot, which is fine with me, but they are just always the first ones that I grab. So I'm excited to have another pair in rotation and a pair off the needles. This was my Christmas Eve cast on, so it's a little bit late. Usually I finish that in January, but there you have it. So that is my only finished object for this week, but I'm excited those are done. So the next project is one that I didn't show you last week because I told you that I had left it at midnight and a friend rescued it. I got it back this week and I have been working on it. This is the Lowbrow Cowl by Tao Nguyen. She is of Nerdbird Makery, and it is a pretty cool, it's like a garter stitch and leaf lace pattern cowl. I am knitting this out of yarn that I know not exactly what it is. It is a Polworth yarn from Australia that my boss brought me back in kind of this great orangey color. I can also see kind of reddish and pinky highlights. I don't even know what to call it. It's like kind of a burnt orange and kind of a coral, and I have no idea. Anyway, I am about, I think, halfway through the knitting, and I'm going to weigh the ball and see where I'm at. I had mentioned that I did not know how much was in the ball because I just got the weight and kind of had a little bit of an idea. I got the weight of 200 grams and then got a little bit of an idea of the weight of the yarn. A lovely podcast viewer contacted me and reminded me that in Jillian Moreno's Yarnitecture, there are some methods of how to measure yarn, calculate length of yarn based on a short sample. So I actually have not done that, but I did go back and look at it briefly, and I wanted to add that just in case you had that problem, and I very much appreciate the advice. As I said, I just have not done it. I suspect I will be just fine. I have another about a repeat and a half to go. Well, no, I guess 2 full repeats to go, and then the border. And like I said, I'm going to weigh it, but I'm pretty sure that I'm about halfway through. So this will be a lovely cowl to finish. As I said, I am excited to kind of be working on some things that are in my stash and getting some things out of the stash. And in particular, I wanted to do this one because I wanted to show my boss what I make from it. Because as I said, he brought me this yarn as a souvenir. And I just thought it would be nice to show him that. So I'm knitting that per pattern on the needles required. I am noticing that I think it's on 6s, maybe. Do I have the needle packet in here? I do. Hang on. It is on a US 7. So I am noticing that I don't know whether it's because it's a long thing in the round, so my hands never really get a break, or whether it's the specific yarn and needles. I'm noticing that my hands are cramping up a little while I'm knitting it. I'm also very used to not knitting in worsted weight. Most of what I work on now is in sport or fingering, so I don't know exactly what is making it happen, but I'm only doing a few rows at a time. Still, I hope that I will crank through this one this week and have it done by the time I see you next. So that is what's going on, and it is living in my knit and stitch Bits bag, which is a lovely company on Etsy, and I actually have a giveaway this week that I will talk about in a little bit. I ordered another bag from her and she tossed one in for you guys, so I thought I would do a little giveaway. So I will show you that in towards the end of the podcast. So the third project that I started this week, once I finished those socks, I figured I ought to cast on some new socks. I talked to you a little bit about this last week. I am using new yarn and needles to me. So this is H&W Comfort Sock and Wool. I had to go to Canada to buy this. I bought it from a really nice shop in Canada called True North Yarn Company, and they were lovely and sent me some really nice extra goodies in the package, so I can highly recommend them. The yarn itself is a German sock yarn. And it is 75% superwash merino, 25% polyamide, so nylon or a nylon blend. And the thing that I am using is I started using the Addi Flexi Flips. That is the new set of Addi needles where it is a DPN sort of on, well, it's hard to explain. It's a cross between DPNs and regular fixed needles. It is a needle that has, let's see if I can, ooh, that's better, sort of. Put it against my shirt maybe or something. It is a needle that has 2 pointy bits on each end and a short little cable in between. So they are flexible in the sense that like DPNs don't bend in the middle, but they are also sort of, they function in a roughly DPN manner. They come in sets of 3. They are not inexpensive. I think I paid about $27 for my set. I got size US 0s because that is, these days, that is what I use the most on my socks. And yesterday we went to see Black Panther, and so I cast on a sock and I knit a little bit in the movie. I did not get as much done as I thought I would, partially because using the new needles it was a little bit odd for me. Usually I just use DPN, so I just go round and round and round, and I kind of had to figure out working these needles. And then the other thing was that I dropped a stitch at one point, so I just put it away because fixing drop stitches in the dark is not a good idea. So I am very early started. I don't know if I said this is Comfort Wool. It's called the Cherry Blossom colorway. It's got pinks and blues and some browns, and so I am just working on that, and I have a bunch of yarn barf here. And I don't know how fast this will get done. This is for when I need a roundy project, like when we go to the movies or whatnot. So it could be a little while, and that is fine. My initial reviews on the needles are kind of mixed. I don't know how I feel about them yet. They are kind of interesting to use. It reminds me a little bit of when I magic loop, other than the fact that the cord isn't there. I do like that there's kind of this, because there's the flexi section in the middle. I do like that you can sort of push your socks into the middle of the needles and just leave them there, and I don't worry so much about stitches falling off either end, because it's a little bit like a cable needle in the sense that like kind of hold it in the middle a little bit. I think when it comes time to do the heel, I am really going to love these needles, because I find that my 5-inch stiletto tips and even sometimes the 6-inch ones are a little bit short to keep all the, especially when I do the, let me try again. I am doing I'm going to use the same recipe, the David's Toe Up Sock Cookbook, so I'm doing a toe up sock with a gusset and heel flap. I don't know why I decided to do that. I just did. And so I think because I'm going to be adding the gusset on the bottom of the foot, and I'm going to have all those extra stitches on the needles, I think when I have those, I'm really going to like these needles, because it's going to corral all the stitches onto one needle rather than across 2. Because my DPNs are often too short to get all the stitches on one needle, and of course this needle may become overwhelmed too, but we'll have to see. But I think I'm going to like doing socks better for the heel on these. The jury is still out whether I'm going to like them better overall or not. So I will keep working on those. You'll hear about those over the next few weeks, and when I finish something, I will talk to you about how I felt about the needles. But that is the third project on the needles. Second project on the needles. I already talked about 3 projects, but one was done. The next project that I'm going to be casting on imminently, and it breaks my one off the needles, one on the needles rule, but I have a friend who is going through a hard time right now, and I have decided to knit her a shawl, and she is actually going to be having some surgery in April, so in very early April, so I really want to finish this and give this to her. I'm knitting her a shawl. And so I picked up a skein of Meilenstein from Woolmize in the blend. That's 70% wool. I know there is a 10% cashmere in here, and I can't remember what the other might be a nylon, but I can't remember. The label's not in English, so... Oh, no, I think it's 70% wool, 20% superwash wool, and then 10% cashmere, but I'm not 100% sure. It is blend, and it is the color Meilenstein, which is this really dark kind of purpley gray. I don't think the monitor is going to do it justice. It is just like a really, really dark gray that's been overwashed in purple. It's kind of like an ashy eggplant colorway, and I'm really enjoying that. I think she's going to love it. She's a purple lover. And then I am going to knit Silverleaf by Lisa Hannis, and this is the yarn that it calls for, this particular yarn. So I am excited about that, and definitely need to get that done by the end of the month. So this is going to be my focus project for the next few weeks. I think I'm probably going to take the cowl with me like on a daily basis to work because she's a co-worker, so I don't want her to see it. But this will be my home and evening project and maybe my knit night project for the next couple weeks. So I will keep you apprised of that. So let me take a sip of tea and then we'll go on to spinning. I guess it's not going to be a super long podcast today, but that's okay because I'm hoping you'll get to get out and enjoy your weather wherever you are. I finished a spin this week. I showed you last week a braid of Hello Yarn BFL in the freeze and thaw colorway, and I was talking about how it was freezing and thawing, and now it's thawing, and it's just gorgeous. It was white plus a bunch of blues and yellows, and this is what it turned out to be. It is gorgeous. It's a little bit thicker than I would have liked. It's somewhere between a worsted and a DK weight, and I probably got around 280 yards. No, 200 and... I don't remember. 260, I think. So it's between a DK and a worsted, which is not as much as I would have liked for this, but it is Blue Face Leicester, and I find I lose some yardage in there. There are also one or two spots in here. There's one spot where the yarn broke, and there was one spot where I got a little bit of a coil that I didn't mean to get. So this will probably, based on the fact that it is less length and it has a few imperfections, this will be up in the shop. I think it's okay to sell, but it will be for a slightly discounted rate. So that is what I have going on here, and it is almost dry, so I'll probably take photos and put it up today or tomorrow. So that brings me to what I will spin next. I'm super excited about this one. I am a member of the Crazy Twisted and Arbitrary Spinning Group. That is a group on Ravelry, and I have talked about them before. They do spin-alongs. Usually they run anywhere between quarterly or, well, they used to do them every other month. Now I think they're quarterly. And the first quarter was Three Water Farm, and the inspiration was, I think it was, no, I can't remember. I can't remember. I'm not even going to hazard a guess. But one of the colorways that she created is this amazingness. It is purples and greens and blues, and it is called, I think, Quilter's Magic? Yeah. It's called Quilter's Magic, and it is on Rambouillet. So it is purples and blues and some swampy greens, and it is absolutely stunning. I'm super excited to spin this one up this week, and this one will be for the shop. So if these are your colors, I don't think the camera's doing it justice. I hope I got a few good pictures of it earlier on my photo camera. It's just got all these teals and turquoises and blues, and these are totally my colors. Anyway, so I'm going to spin that up this week, and that is also destined for the shop. So if those are your colors, keep an eye out. So, as I said, we're going to have a giveaway. Knit and Stitch Bits is a great Etsy shop. I will put a link in the show notes. It is a great shop. She does beautiful bags. I have ordered from her before. She has sent me bags to give away on the podcast before. She did this super cute, please forgive the plastic, but it's here. She did this super cute, I have to think about which one's which, because I bought the biggest bag. Yes, I bought the biggest bag she does because I wanted a sweater bag. These are party camels, and they make me laugh. So this is the largest one she does, and then this is the next size down. This is good for a shawl. I've gotten like a 2-color shawl in there before, or even 3-color shawl. So these are her wonderful project bags, and I don't see her tags on them. I have a tag on mine, but maybe she just does them inside. They have interfacing, and no, she didn't. And then the inside of these are just plain. Let me pull out the bag that so I ordered this one. Actually, I ordered both of those, and then she sent me one for you. So the one she sent me is neon triangles against a gray-black background. It is pink and orange and blue and yellow and green and gray, and it's all on kind of a gray background. And it is interfaced, and then the inside, oh, that's cute. The inside on this one is gray with black polka dots. So it is a super cute project bag. It will fit, like I said, it will fit your shawl project with a couple skeins of yarn. The bottom does expand, so it is, it's a great bag. It will usually stand up by itself. It's just a really nice project bag. Again, the shop is Knit and Stitch Bits on Ravelry, and I am going to do this as a YouTube contest, so just for you who watch the podcast. So if you watch the podcast, leave me a comment down below and let me know what project you would put in this bag first. And I will announce the winner on next week's podcast and ship it out to you. Anywhere in the world is welcome to, because I will ship internationally. So go ahead and leave me a comment on this podcast. Tell me what you would put in this great project bag from Knit and Stitch Bits. And thank you for sending it over here. So I think that's it for today. All the news that's fit to print. I hope that you have had a lovely week. Thank you, as always, for spending time with me. And until I see you again, I will say happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping. And I'll see you next time. Bye.